Hello everyone, Mr. Missy here, and in this video it's going to be slightly different where I'm just going to go yap max status on whatever the heck I feel like yap maxing about. So in this case I'm just going to go ahead and do a whole bunch of yapping over this current lap time challenge that we actually cannot access because PlayStation is down for whatever reason. But when we were able to access this lap time challenge, this is probably one of the funnest lap time challenges that I've ever done. And this is coming from someone who has been able to participate in all the global lap time challenges. Keyword global because I know there were some that were regional only, but out of all the global ones, I've been able to participate in all of them. And I think it's pretty safe to say that this is probably around top 10, maybe even top 5 of the funnest lap time challenges that I've ever done. So I guess the question is, what makes me say that this is one of the funnest lap time challenges that I've ever done? Well, let's go ahead and get into that. And the first thing actually has to do, and this is me being a bit nitpicky, but this has to do with where you start your lap time challenge or where you start your lap. With this specific combination, so this is the Alfa Romeo 155 at Watkins Glen Short, you start a bit before the final turn and you're able to get enough speed and get a decent start to your lap, and you don't have to wait that long to start your actual lap. So at least with Watkins Glen Short, you're waiting around 13 seconds with this car before you start your actual lap, so you're not waiting that long. It's not like Fuji where you have to wait about 2,000 years because you have to go through the final corner and then go halfway down the straight before you actually start your lap, and then wait another 20 million years before you get to the first turn. Yeah, but with this one, you don't have to wait that long. So that is something that I really do appreciate that probably doesn't get talked about enough. The other thing is that Watkins Glen Short is a, well, short and sweet track. And I have a thing for short and sweet tracks. Probably because it just doesn't take that much time to complete a lap. And you can get a whole bunch of laps knocked out in a short amount of time. And you're able to quickly see how much you're improving or not improving, where you're losing your time, where you're gaining your time. You're able to see that pretty quickly and just take that information and go from there. And at least with Watkins Glen Short, you're able to get to a certain section pretty quickly. So let's say there's a turn or there's a section of the track where it's giving you a hard time and you want to try to improve on it. You're able to get to it pretty quickly with this combination. So for example, with me, it was actually turn 1 that was a bit painful, because if you get turn number 1 wrong, you're losing 1.5 to 2/10 of a second because you're going through the S's flat out, then you go to the back straight. So if I mess up turn number 1, I'll just restart the session and get back to it, and I'll be at turn number 1 again. Just keep trying again until I finally get it right. And to a lesser extent, the bus up chicane down was slightly painful, although not as painful as with the other car. I think it was the Nissan Skyline R34 that we had for Daily Race A while back. That one was pretty painful to go through the chicane with. With this car, which is going to be the next reason, with this car, the Alfa Romeo 155, man, this car feels pretty damn good to drive. And I say that as I understeer, but yeah, this car, it feels pretty easy to drive, and I do want to take a bit of time to appreciate that, because I definitely did not suffer God knows how many hours with some demon spawn called the Red Bull X 2019. Yeah, the Alfa Romeo 155, it's fun to drive, it's easy to drive, so I think with this car, it's easy to learn but hard to master, and especially with this combination. And that's really going to blend some of these things together, where you have a short and sweet track and you have a car that is pretty easy and fun to drive. Get those two together and what you have is basically an easy combination where it's easy to learn this car and track combination, but if you're trying to master it, that's where things get pretty difficult, because that's where you have to start to be precise with what you're doing, how you enter a turn, how you exit a turn, how you go through the bus-up chicane to try to maximize as much time as possible. But hey, if you only care about getting some free credits with minimal effort, then I think this combination is perfect for that. If all you care about is getting a pretty safe bronze time, then it shouldn't take that long to get that time and get an easy 500,000 credits. If you're fast enough, it's pretty easy to get the gold and go deep into the gold territory, so you're guaranteed those 2 million credits when this lap time challenge ends. And if you want to go ahead and sweat this combination out, then yeah, go ahead, feel free to do so, as this combination is short and sweet, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to try to squeeze as much time as possible. And I guess going back to this car and track combination, well, first of all, the Alfa Romeo goes through this curve or this chicane. It goes through it generally pretty well. I know there are some moments where if you enter it very wrong, the car is not going to react that well, but overall the car was pretty tolerable when it comes to the bus-up chicane. The other thing is that when you start to improve on your times, it gets really tempting really fast to want to just stick around for just a little more to try to improve your lap time, because that's what ended up happening with me, where I was like, okay, I'm in the 114s, let's try to improve it just a little bit more. Then you end up in the vortex, you try to improve your time, and then you tell yourself, maybe I can improve just a little bit more. So you go back into the vortex, you try to improve your time, and then you improve your time, and then the cycle begins new. And at least with me, that's what happened, and I had fun doing it. I kept seeing myself going back into the lap time challenge and try to improve my lap time, because with this lap time challenge, I was originally going for a 114.5, and I eventually do get it, but instead of calling it a night there, I ended up going back to try to improve my time even more. And I think that's kind of rare for me to do, because usually once I get a certain lap time, I'll just call it a day there and go make the lap guide if I have time to make it. But there are some lap time challenges where I just absolutely dreaded going back to try to improve my time, especially if I was just off of the target time that I wanted to reach. But with this one, this was not the case, where I wanted to go back, I get the time that I want, but I still go back and improve my time. And yeah, I think that's something I really want to point out, because yeah, that's something that's really rare for me to do, and kind of just shows you how much I really like this lap time challenge. And even after having to restart so many times, I mean, I still liked it. It wasn't as frustrating because I was going to be back at that section almost right away. I didn't have to wait too long, so it didn't feel as frustrating. It's not like Nürburgring, where if you mess up in the middle of a certain area, you have to spend God knows how many minutes just trying to get back to that section and then try to get it right this time around. Yeah, it's not like that with this combination in the car. Still pretty easy to drive, but it does take a bit of time to really get a good idea of how you can try to make the car do what you want to do, and hopefully try not to cut the chicane, because that happened a couple of times. But all those mini or small frustrations aside, yeah, this was still really fun, and I think this track and car combination is fantastic. Perfect is really hard to say. I don't want to say it's perfect, but I think this is a great combination. And eventually I improved to a 114.4.
Oh yeah! I almost said the F-bomb, but let's go.
Yeah, I was pretty damn happy about that. But yeah, that's my little rant about this lap time challenge. Probably one of the funnest lap time challenges that I'll ever do in Gran Turismo 7, and I just wanted to make a video about this. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I don't know. I was just yap maxing for a while, but that's it from me. Thank you for watching the video. If you've made it all the way through, This is Mr. CA, and I'll see you in the next video.